Hi everybody. In this lecture, you will learn the concept and the use of namespace in C#.NET. We will try to learn the use of the namespaces and discuss the default namespace, and later on we will create our own custom namespaces and we see how to use them to prevent name conflict. Let's move on and talk about the role of the namespaces. Now let's say you have two friends and both have the same name, Alex. One is from your work and the other is your neighbor. Now you come home and tell your wife, I met Alex today. Your wife will definitely be confused and will ask, which Alex? Alex from work or Alex, our neighbor? And then you will clarify, right? You will say, oh, I met Alex, our neighbor. So just like we categorize and identify things in our daily routine, namespaces works the same way. Namespaces in C# are logical containers with names, and they are used to organize classes and prevent name conflicts. In addition to avoid or prevent name conflicts, namespaces are also used to group related things. For example, in a very large application, I can group all the users file under the users namespace and the product files under the products namespace. Right? There are two main reasons to use namespaces: organize the code and avoid name conflicts. Now we know the role of the namespaces and why do we use them. Let's move on and see everything in action. The first thing that you need to know is the root or the default namespace. Every project you create in Visual Studio has a default namespace, and that namespace is also called root namespace. The name of the project becomes application's default namespace or the root namespace. And we can confirm it or even change the name of the default or the root namespace in two different ways. Now, as you see in Visual Studio, I have a project and the name of the project is my app. And that simply means the default namespace is also my app. In order to confirm it, we can look into the configuration files of this project. Just double click on the project name, and here you have the configuration file. And this is your root namespace. As you can see, the name of the namespace is my app. There is another way. Right click on your project, select the properties. Under the application, you would select the general, and if I scroll down, so here you will see your default namespace. Using this window, you can simply change the name of your root namespace or the base namespace. So my app is our default or the root namespace. All the classes will be automatically added under this namespace. This is our program.cs file. Here we have our main method. In the background, I am working with top level statements, and we know at the compile time, the program class and the main method is added to the assembly. Like I said, this file is using the default namespace, and we don't need to call that namespace explicitly. That was all about the default or the root namespace, and now we are going to create our own namespaces. This is where the things get interesting. Right click on the project and add a class file. Let's call it shape2d.cs, and another class file which is called shape3d.cs. Shapes3d.cs. Now we have two different class files, shapes2d and shapes3d. In the shapes2d, we will code the shapes for 2d, and in the 3d, we will code the shapes for the 3d. So let's open the shape2d, remove all the code, and now we are going to create a custom namespace. All the 2D shape types will be under the same namespace. To create a namespace, we start with a keyword namespace. And after that, we can simply choose a name, for example, shapes 2D, and then a semicolon. So the shapes 2D is a logical container or the namespace for this entire file. After C#10, we don't need parentheses, and the namespaces have file scope. That simply means all the types we code under this namespace will automatically be the part of this shapes2d namespace. Shapes2d is a perfect and legitimate name, but here we can make an improvement. We can make this name full qualified. Full qualified name means it starts with a root namespace. It's a kind of hierarchy or like a tree. So our first namespace is my app, and inside that namespace we have another namespace which is shape story. If I do not mention this full qualified name, this namespace will automatically add it into the root namespace. But having a full qualified name simply make your code more readable. So this is the full qualified name. Now under this namespace, we have a type circle, and that type will simply draw, let's say, a 2D circle. Now let's say we have another type. The name of the type is square. Both the types, circle and square, are now part of the shapes 2D namespace. And now, in the program.cs file, we can start using our code, but before that, we must include the namespace. And for that, we use using keyword. And once again, the full qualified name of the namespace we wanna use. And after that, we can simply call our types. And let's now call the method draw. Run the program, and you will see the output in the console. And here you see the output. So that was simple. Now we want to create 3D types in a different file. This is our 3D file. Let's start with the namespace, full qualified name, my app, and the name of the namespace is shapes 3D. That's it. Now let's say shape 3D has a type hexagon. All the 3D types we will simply collect inside the shape 3D namespace. Now, in order to use that namespace, we will do the same. In our program file, we will type the name of the fully qualified namespace, which is 3D. And now we can simply call the types. That's it. Run the program and check the output. And so you see the output, right? Everything is working perfectly fine. We have two custom namespaces, but there is no name conflict. But now we will create a name conflict. Let's say in our 3D shapes namespace, we also have a type name circle, which is gonna draw a 3D circle. And we also have, let's say, 3D square. And under the 2D shapes, we have circle, square. Now let's say we also want to print a 2D hexagon. So now we have same types in two different namespaces. 2D has circle, square, and hexagon types, and 3D also has circle, square, and hexagon types. As you see, our program has become confused. This is ambiguous call. In the error list, you can see square is an ambiguous reference between these two namespaces. Although we have both the namespaces, but our program has no idea which circle to draw. Circle from the 2D namespace or the circle from the 3D namespace. So to resolve this name conflict, we have two options. The first option is use the fully qualified name while working with the type. For example, in our circle types, so we can write fully qualified name, my app, shape story, dot circle, shape story, dot circle. So using this fully qualified name, we simply tell the compiler this is the path. So this is the first option. You can use fully qualified names, but the keystrokes are multiple. The second option is to create alias or the nickname. For example, for the 2D namespace, we create alias, draw 2D like this. And for the second one, draw 3D. So draw 2D and 3D are actually the nickname of the namespace. And now using this nickname, we can call our types. Now, for example, the square is 3D. So I will call like draw 3D dot square, draw 3D dot square, and this hexagon is 2D, draw 2D dot hexagon, and draw 2D dot hexagon. So let's run the program and you will see a 2D circle, 3D square, and 2D hexagon. And so you see the output, right? 2D circle, 3D square, and 2D hexagon. So my friends, that was a brief overview of custom namespaces in C Sharp. Do some practice, create other namespaces, and try to use them in your main application. I will see you around in some other tutorial or lecture. Thanks for watching.